Hello, incredible viewers. Get ready for a story of determination, heart, and groundbreaking innovation. Meet Amelia Carter, a brilliant woman cast out of her family business, only to rise stronger than ever. With relentless drive and a bold vision for sustainability, she builds EcoTech Solutions, a company that's revolutionizing the construction industry. This is more than just business, it's a battle to prove your worth. Rise above the odds, and leave a legacy that cannot be ignored. Thank you for being here, your support means everything. Sit back, relax, and get ready to witness Amelia's powerful transformation. The sleek, modern office of Carter Innovations had always felt like home to Amelia Carter, a place where she spent countless hours learning the ins and outs of the tech world her grandfather had built from scratch. Amelia had grown up in the company, watching her father pour his heart and soul into it and learning from him every step of the way. She had earned her place as a leader in the family business after years of hard work and dedication. From attending high-level meetings to analyzing new technologies and trends. But today, as she stood at the polished mahogany desk that her father had sat behind for 30 years, she felt the weight of her entire world shifting beneath her feet. Ethan Carter, her older brother, was sitting there now, like he had always been meant to take over. But in truth, he was the one least suited for the job. Amelia had seen it for years. Ethan was unprepared, relying more on his charm and the privileges his family's name afforded him than on any real knowledge or skill. He'd spent his college years partying while Amelia had done the work, often at the expense of her own social life, to keep Carter Innovations afloat. But now, with their father's stroke leaving him incapacitated in a nursing home, Ethan had risen to the top, without any of the qualifications or experience needed. Amelia had expected some tension after their father's accident, but nothing could prepare her for the blow she was about to receive. Ethan casually straightened his tie, dismissing her presence as if it was beneath him. "You can't be serious," Amelia said, her voice steady despite the storm of anger inside her. "I've been running operations for 5 years. The employees trust me, the clients need stability." But Ethan didn't see it that way. His smug superiority radiated from him as he interrupted. "Let's be honest, Elizabeth. A woman running a construction company, it's not a good look." He sneered. Amelia's mind raced, but she kept her composure. She had fought for this company, Carter Innovations, for years. She had earned her role through experience, knowledge, and a genuine passion for what they did. Yet, Ethan, who had never been involved in the day-to-day operations, now claimed he was the one who could bring the company into the future. "We're losing contracts because you keep underbidding projects without understanding the real costs." She shot back, trying to make him see reason. "The Miller development alone will put us in the red by at least $500,000. His expression darkened, but instead of listening to her, he dismissed her outright. "I don't need business advice from my little sister," he retorted coldly. "The board agrees with me. We need strong leadership right now, male leadership." As he stood, his arrogance filling the room, Amelia was left in stunned silence. What about their father? What would he say about this? But before she could ask, Ethan answered the question for her. "Dad's not here," he snapped, his voice cutting through the air. "I'm in charge now. You have until the end of the week to clear out your office." The words felt like a slap in the face. She had spent her entire career fighting to prove herself. And now, after years of dedication, she was being thrown out of the company she loved. As Ethan's cold smile curled, telling her not to bother asking for severance, Amelia fought to keep her composure. Carter Innovations might have been her life's work, but she knew one thing for sure: this was not the end of her journey. It was just the beginning. Amelia Carter's connection to Carter Innovations ran deep, deeper than the polished floors of the company headquarters or the mahogany desk that now sat empty after her father's stroke. She had practically grown up within the walls of this company, absorbing its values, its challenges, and its triumphs from the moment she could walk. Her grandfather had founded the company with nothing but grit and vision. A vision that Amelia had been determined to uphold. While her brother Ethan was off enjoying his college years, Amelia was at Carter Innovations, learning every aspect of the business from blueprint analysis to project management, handling everything from site planning to the fine details of contract negotiations. As a child, she spent hours shadowing her father, watching him work late into the night and listening intently as he imparted his knowledge of the business and the industry. It was clear from an early age that she was the one who truly understood the company's potential. Not Ethan, who showed little interest in learning the craft. Yet, as Amelia matured, she continued to be overlooked. She was often treated like a second choice to her brother, despite the fact that she had put in far more effort to make the company what it was. Amelia had always believed in the potential of Carter Innovations, and she dedicated her life to improving it. She took pride in their eco-friendly building practices and innovative approaches to construction, pushing for progress in an industry that often clung to outdated methods. But her passion was never fully recognized. She had pushed for the sustainable building projects that Ethan had dismissed as too risky. In many ways, she had always been the one at the forefront of the company's future, advocating for change while Ethan stubbornly focused on the status quo. But despite her hard work and contributions, she was always overshadowed by Ethan's privilege. He inherited the top position by birthright, not by merit, even after their father's stroke, when Amelia was more than capable of taking over and leading the company with a steady hand. It was Ethan, without any of the qualifications or experience, who was named CEO. This deepened the divide between Amelia and her brother, and it left her with a deep sense of frustration. Amelia didn't just want to lead Carter Innovations, she wanted to honor her father's legacy. But she couldn't do so under Ethan's direction. Her passion for sustainable building, her knowledge of the tech-driven future of construction, and her dedication to the company had always been her driving forces. But now they were the very things that set her apart. It became clear that Carter Innovations was no longer a place where she could thrive, not under Ethan's leadership. Not in an environment that denied her the respect she had earned. The fight had never been just about recognition, it had always been about proving that she was worthy of leading the company her grandfather built. Not just as a daughter or a woman, but as someone who truly understood the business. But now, with her future at Carter Innovations uncertain, Amelia's motivation changed. She wasn't just fighting for respect in a company anymore, she was fighting for the chance to build something better. Something that would reflect her values, her innovation, and her vision for the future. The tension between Amelia and Ethan Carter had been simmering for years. But it reached its boiling point when he assumed control of Carter Innovations after their father's stroke. The company, which had been Amelia's life for as long as she could remember, was now in the hands of someone completely unqualified to lead it. Ethan, always the favored son, had been handed the reins with no regard for Amelia's years of dedication and hard-earned experience. Despite having little knowledge of the day-to-day operations, he treated the company like his personal playground, with no respect for the values their father had built it on. Amelia, on the other hand, had spent years working her way up, learning every facet of the business. She knew the company inside and out, from understanding the intricacies of construction contracts to managing multi-million-dollar projects. It was Amelia who had pushed for the introduction of sustainable building methods, recognizing early on the importance of eco-friendly innovations for the future of the industry. Yet, despite her invaluable contributions, Ethan had always dismissed her ideas as impractical, dismissing her as too idealistic. When the board met to discuss the future of Carter Innovations, Ethan's lack of understanding and stubbornness was becoming more and more evident. Amelia had spent months preparing detailed financial reports, projecting the company's growth, and ensuring that their contracts were in line with industry standards. But Ethan had a different agenda. He was more focused on keeping the company safe, clinging to outdated methods and hesitant to embrace the future. Their most recent project, the Miller development, was a prime example of this. Amelia had warned Ethan that their pricing was too low and the costs would put the project into the red. But Ethan, not wanting to lose the deal, pushed forward with the underbid, disregarding her caution. As expected, the project was on track to lose them $500,000, a fact that only fueled the rift between them. When Amelia brought this up to him, Ethan arrogantly dismissed her concerns. "I don't need business advice from my little sister," he retorted coldly, his arrogance thick in the air. "The board agrees with me. We need strong leadership right now, male leadership." The words cut deeper than any financial setback. His blatant misogyny, his dismissive attitude toward her experience, and his inability to recognize the value she brought to the company made it clear, Ethan didn't care about the business. He cared about his own pride and maintaining his position. Amelia, trying to keep her composure, pointed out the failure of the project and how it would damage the company's reputation. But instead of acknowledging the error, Ethan responded with cold indifference. "The board has decided," he snapped. "You're not part of the future of this company. You have until the end of the week to clear out your office." Amelia felt the sting of betrayal. But she didn't let it show. She had worked too hard to let him tear everything down with his incompetence. As Ethan dismissed her, turning his attention back to his phone, Amelia realized something important. This wasn't just about Carter Innovations anymore. It was about her own future. And if Ethan thought he could push her out of the company her grandfather built, he was gravely mistaken. Amelia wasn't going anywhere. This was just the beginning of her fight for her vision, her respect, and her legacy. After the crushing blow of being ousted from Carter Innovations, Amelia Carter sat in her apartment that evening, staring at her phone, her mind swirling with emotions. She had worked her whole life for this company, her grandfather's legacy, and now her own brother had dismissed her as if she had never mattered. The tension with Ethan had been building for years. But this was different. He wasn't just disregarding her, he was actively undermining her years of hard work. Pushing forward with a vision that was outdated and reckless. It was a bitter pill to swallow. But deep down, Amelia knew something important. She didn't need his approval to succeed. As she looked around the apartment, which had once been filled with plans and ideas about the future of Carter Innovations, she realized that she had a choice. She could continue to fight against the walls Ethan had built around her. Or she could leave and create something of her own, something that aligned with her values, her vision, and her expertise. The decision to leave wasn't easy. She had invested her life in Carter Innovations, and her departure felt like a betrayal to the family business. But it was clear now that the company had been taken over by someone who didn't understand the future of the industry. She was the one who had pushed for the adoption of sustainable building practices, who had seen the potential of green technology in construction. Yet Ethan dismissed those ideas at every turn. As she sat at her desk, reviewing her finances and considering her options, she realized that while she didn't have the resources Ethan did, she had something far more valuable: experience, knowledge, and a network of people who believed in her. Over the past few years, she had made smart investments in tech startups, and her savings were enough to give her a decent nest egg to start something new. It wasn't enough to directly compete with Carter Innovations right away, but it was enough to begin building something that could rival it in time. The idea began to take shape as she thought about what she wanted to create: a company that wasn't just about profit, but one that would drive innovation in the construction industry, focusing on sustainability and the future of green technologies. She would create a company that would not only prove her worth to Ethan, but to herself and to the world. She picked up her phone and called Olivia, her best friend and the owner of a successful architectural firm. Olivia had always supported Amelia's vision for sustainable construction, and it was clear that they shared a passion for eco-friendly building practices. After a quick conversation, Olivia was on board, eager to help Amelia bring her ideas to life. The next morning, Amelia made the first steps toward her new venture. She rented a small office space in the city, far away from the shadow of Carter Innovations. It was modest but perfect for what she needed, a place where she could finally start fresh, without the interference of Ethan or the company's outdated methods. She reached out to some of her old contacts, key people who had worked with her in the past and believed in her vision for the future. Lucas and Jenna, two former project managers from Carter Innovations, were quick to sign on, both dissatisfied with Ethan's leadership and eager to get involved in a company that valued innovation and forward thinking. Amelia also tapped into her network of investors who had previously supported her sustainable building projects. With her savings, her new partners, and the backing of a few key investors, she had the foundation to start EcoTech Solutions, a company focused on cutting-edge sustainable construction. The road ahead wouldn't be easy. There would be challenges, setbacks, and moments of doubt, but for the first time in a long while, Amelia felt a spark of excitement. This was her chance to build something meaningful, something that aligned with her values and expertise, and most importantly, something that would make Ethan regret ever underestimating her. She was done fighting for approval, now. She was going to build her own empire. Building EcoTech Solutions from the ground up was a challenge Amelia Carter embraced wholeheartedly. She had spent years watching Carter innovations from the sidelines, sidelined by her brother, Ethan. Now, she had the freedom to build a company on her own terms. The first step was securing office space. Amelia rented a modest but functional space in downtown Seattle, far removed from the legacy of Carter Innovations, where she would no longer be seen merely as Ethan's sister but as an independent force in the tech world. She had no intention of competing directly with Carter Innovations. Instead, she focused on creating a niche. EcoTech Solutions would specialize in sustainable, eco-friendly building technologies that integrated energy-efficient solutions with the latest advancements in construction. She knew there was a gap in the market for this type of innovation. And with her experience in both construction and green technology, she was perfectly positioned to fill it. Olivia, her longtime friend, was a key partner from the start. Olivia's architectural firm had been working on sustainable designs for years, and the two women had discussed creating a joint venture long before Amelia had been pushed out of Carter Innovations. Now that they were partners, the possibilities felt endless. Olivia connected Amelia with several high-profile clients, including a fast-growing tech startup that wanted to build an eco-friendly office building. The project was a significant opportunity, a $5 million contract that would showcase EcoTech Solutions' ability to deliver on its promise of cutting-edge, sustainable construction. Amelia, feeling the weight of starting anew, threw herself into every detail of the project. She personally designed the proposal, researched new green building materials, and set up meetings with environmental engineers to ensure the project was as innovative as it was practical. She quickly realized that her years of experience working with contractors and engineers would give her a leg up in executing the project successfully, especially with Ethan still too stubborn to see the potential of green technology. The process was exhausting. Amelia juggled meetings with suppliers, project managers, and potential clients, all while overseeing the legal and financial setup of the business. Her team was small but incredibly capable. Lucas and Jenna, two of Carter Innovations' former project managers, were eager to join her after hearing about the challenges they faced under Ethan's leadership. Both had grown frustrated with Ethan's mismanagement and jumped at the chance to work for a company that prioritized expertise over privilege. They quickly became integral to EcoTech Solutions, bringing their project management skills and valuable industry contacts with them. Amelia also enlisted David, the family's longtime attorney, to ensure that the legal foundations of the company were solid. With his help, EcoTech Solutions navigated the complicated world of permits, licensing, and construction regulations, while also putting in place the necessary protections to ensure they could grow sustainably. As the first project began to take shape, Amelia felt a sense of satisfaction that she hadn't experienced in years. The construction industry had always been a male-dominated field, and for too long, Ethan and his colleagues had dismissed the importance of eco-friendly practices. But now, Amelia was creating a company that didn't just talk about innovation, she was actually implementing it. The team's hard work paid off as the eco-friendly office building took shape. And Amelia found herself speaking to the media, discussing the importance of sustainable construction. Clients took notice, impressed not only by her expertise but by the vision she was creating. The success of the first project became the foundation for others. Word spread quickly in the industry, and Amelia was soon approached by other businesses interested in sustainable building. With her success in securing and completing the Tech Startups project, she attracted even larger clients. One of these clients was Greenbuild Inc., a major player in the real estate development industry, who saw EcoTech Solutions as the perfect partner for their upcoming projects. The influx of contracts was a validation of everything Amelia had believed in. It wasn't just about being an outsider to Carter Innovations anymore, it was about building something that reflected her passion for sustainability and innovation. Her dream of creating a company that was more than just about profits was now becoming a reality. EcoTech Solutions was not only a competitor to Carter Innovations but a leader in a growing field that would change the future of construction. Amelia's success was proof that with determination, hard work, and a vision for the future, she could carve out her own place in an industry that once seemed closed to her. Vision was becoming a reality, and her work was finally being recognized. But that success didn't sit well with Ethan, her brother, who had been watching from the sidelines as Carter Innovations floundered under his leadership. One day, unannounced, he barged into her new office, his face a mask of frustration and anger. "What do you think you're doing?" he demanded, his voice laced with contempt. "You can't just start your own company and steal clients from Carter Innovations." Amelia remained calm, refusing to let him intimidate her. "I'm not stealing anything," she replied, her voice steady. "I'm building something better, something that actually works." Ethan's eyes narrowed, and he sneered. "You think you're smarter than me, don't you? EcoTech Solutions is just a joke. You're not qualified to lead a real construction company." Amelia could feel the old anger bubbling up inside, but she didn't let it show. Ethan had always belittled her, always assumed that because she was a woman, she didn't belong in the industry. He was used to getting his way, using his family name and privilege to climb the ranks. But now, things were different. Amelia had built something of her own, and it was thriving. "I know exactly what I'm doing," she said firmly. "You're too busy playing golf and hiring yes men to notice. But EcoTech Solutions is the future of the industry. You can't stop it." Ethan scoffed, but the anger in his eyes told a different story. He knew she was right, his company was crumbling, and his fear of her success was palpable. Amelia had won, and she was just getting started. As Amelia Carter stood on the rooftop of the newly constructed EcoTech Solutions office, the city skyline spread out before her. She couldn't help but feel a deep sense of pride and accomplishment. The journey had been long and filled with obstacles, but now, EcoTech Solutions was thriving, and her vision for sustainable construction had begun to reshape the industry. She had started from scratch, rejected and underestimated by her own brother, Ethan, and pushed out of the family business, Carter Innovations. Yet here she was, standing in a position of power, not just as a business owner but as a leader in a rapidly evolving field. The success of EcoTech Solutions had been hard-won. Amelia had faced countless challenges, from securing funding to managing tight project deadlines, and there were moments when doubt crept in. But with the unwavering support of her team, including Lucas and Jenna, who had left Carter Innovations with her, she had navigated every obstacle and emerged victorious. Amelia had built a reputation not only for her technical expertise in sustainable building practices but also for her integrity and vision. Her company was now sought after by major corporations, and EcoTech Solutions had become a pioneer in green technology for construction. As the company's influence grew, so did the tension between Ethan and her. Despite his best efforts to undermine her, the decline of Carter Innovations under his leadership had been unavoidable. His mismanagement, combined with his stubbornness in rejecting innovation, had led to numerous failures. Projects were delayed, clients had left, and the company's stock had plummeted. Eventually, the inevitable happened. Carter Innovations was facing bankruptcy. Its once stable foundation now eroded by years of bad decisions and poor leadership. It was at this moment that Amelia received the call she had longed for. The board of Carter Innovations was willing to sell her the company. They had recognized that EcoTech Solutions was the future, and the only way to save Carter Innovations was by merging with Amelia's innovative approach. The offer was both thrilling and bittersweet. The company that her grandfather had built, the business she had grown up in, was now being offered to her, but it was not the way she had imagined it. Ethan had tried to stop her, dismissing her as a failure, but in the end, it was his mismanagement that had paved the way for her success. As Amelia walked into Carter Innovations' boardroom for the final negotiations, she felt a quiet sense of triumph. Her years of hard work, her unrelenting belief in her vision, had led her to this moment. She was no longer just the daughter of a founder, nor was she just Ethan's sister. She was the new leader, the one who had saved the legacy. In the end, Carter Innovations was merged with EcoTech Solutions, creating an even stronger force in the construction industry. The name of Carter Innovations remained, But the company's direction was firmly in Amelia's hands. Ethan walked away, defeated, unable to grasp the magnitude of his mistakes. Amelia, on the other hand, had learned one crucial lesson. Sometimes the setbacks and betrayals you face lead you to exactly where you need to be. By standing up for her beliefs, trusting in her abilities, and refusing to be silenced, she had built something greater than she could have imagined, a company that honored the past while forging a path to the future. As Amelia sat in her new office, surrounded by her team, she felt the weight of her father's words echo in her mind. Look ahead. Always, with her company's future secure and a newfound sense of purpose, she knew her work was far from over. She had a legacy to build, and this time, it was on her own terms. With the merger of Carter Innovations and EcoTech Solutions complete, Amelia Carter stood at the helm of a newly reinvigorated company, one that was poised to lead the construction industry into a sustainable future. The combination of traditional expertise and innovative green technology had created a unique powerhouse. And Amelia knew this was only the beginning. The first projects under the new structure were already underway: eco-friendly office buildings, energy-efficient commercial spaces, and cutting-edge sustainable solutions for tech giants. Amelia's vision was taking shape, and the industry was beginning to take notice. Carter Innovations now had a purpose beyond maintaining outdated practices. It was evolving to meet the challenges of the modern world. With Ethan no longer in the picture, Amelia was free to shape the company's direction, focusing on a future built on sustainability and innovation. As more clients lined up to work with EcoTech Solutions, Amelia's confidence grew. She had proved herself not just to her family but to the industry. Her efforts to blend the old with the new were paying off, and her passion for green technologies was becoming the blueprint for the future of construction. Looking ahead, Amelia had ambitious plans. She envisioned EcoTech Solutions expanding globally, pioneering even more groundbreaking projects in renewable energy and sustainable urban development. The company's legacy would no longer be defined by the mistakes of Ethan or the limitations of the past. It would be a leader in the fight against climate change and an advocate for greener cities. Amelia smiled as she looked out the window, the city skyline glistening in the distance. This was just the beginning. And with her team by her side, the future was wide open. The lesson from this story is that resilience and self-belief can turn setbacks into opportunities. Amelia Carter faced betrayal and rejection from those closest to her. But instead of succumbing to defeat, she built something of her own. Her journey teaches us that when we trust in our abilities, stay true to our values, and push through adversity, we can create a future that reflects our vision. Sometimes, the most difficult challenges lead us to the greatest successes, and the key to overcoming them is determination, innovation, and the courage to take bold, unexpected steps forward.